Lecture Series Number 5, Appraising Employee Performance. Here, we will be familiarized with the objectives and principles of appraising the performance of employees. We will understand the different types of performance rating. We will realize the importance as well as the reason for a systematic program selection and placement of the human resource of an agency and how they fit into human resource planning program. We will also gain insights on how the performance of an employee is being evaluated. Good day, I'm Michael John Cabanban, and I'm here to discuss to you performance appraisal. What is performance appraisal? The method by which the individual employee's efficiency in performing his duties and responsibilities during a given period of evaluated on the basis of predetermined performance standards or established goals. Performance appraisal is also known as performance rating, efficiency rating, merit rating, employee evaluation, service rating, or personal rating, performance review, and performance appraisal. How is the performance of an employee judged? The performance of an employee is judged through the dimension of the job, which includes the answers to the question, what must be done? How should the job be done? How well should it be accomplished? What are the objectives of performance appraisal? The objectives of an employee performance rating system are: provides feedback on employee performance. It raises employee efficiency because it provides a feedback on the employee's strong and weak points. Second, serves as basis for personal action. It provides an objective and systematic basis for various personal actions such as promotion, transfer, demotion, layoff, discharge, an increase in salary. Third, it's a management guide in employee counseling and discipline. It is a means of communicating the standards of performance required by the job and what is expected from the employee. Fourth, promotes better employee-employer relationship. The employee is informed about what his superior expected of him, how he performs his task in terms of the job requirements, and of what to do in case he needs to improve his performance and increase his value to the agency. Fifth, improves supervision by making the supervisor better aware of his duties. The superior becomes aware of the need to observe closely the work of the employees in his unit to be able to make a fair and equitable evaluation of the work. Sixth, develop employees and supervisors. It is a means of improving operating results by utilizing the talents of the supervisor and his subordinates. Next, as an agent of change. It enables management to remove the restraints or to restructure the job to make it more meaningful and thus motivate the employee for better performance. Next, identifies training needs and management development. It reveals the employee's weaknesses and thereby helps identify his specific training needs. It also identifies the supervisors who have leadership potential and who may be recommended for higher management positions. Lastly, facilitates organization diagnosis and development. It points out the relative strengths and weaknesses of people in the organization as well as the effectiveness of systems and procedures used by employees in doing their jobs. Is there a need to evaluate employee performance? The supervisor can make salary and promotion decisions wisely and objectively. The supervisor can avoid making snap judgments when immediate decision affective individual employees have to be made. The result of employee evaluation directly affects the employee's present and future standing in the firm. The performance rating shows the supervisor's appraisal in the employee's possibilities for advancement in the agency. What are the methods used in performance appraisal? Some of the types of performance rating plans in wide use are the following: rank order method, paired comparison method, force distribution system, graphics rating scale, preference checklist method, management by objectives or MBO, or result-oriented method.
Good day, everyone. This is Ryan Nicole Quemado, and I am tasked to discuss to you how to determine the accuracy of performance ratings. The value of performance rating naturally depends upon the validity and reliability of the ratings given. The instrument or form used to evaluate performance is an important factor in achieving valid and reliable ratings. We all know that, right? But before anything else, let me first discuss these two terms that you can see on the screen. We have the validity of ratings and the reliability of ratings. When we say validity of ratings, it refers to the accuracy of ratings in the differentiating each employee in a group. Of course, in terms of his actual job performance. And these ratings may be measured by comparing ratings with an employee's records of work performance, also aside from comparing the individual employee's ratings with his progress in the agency as reflected by his promotions and salary increase. On the other hand, when we say reliability of ratings, this is how ratings can be quoted as reliable. Of course, if and only if they are consistent. That is, if the individual employees in a group receive essentially the same ratings when evaluated at least twice. Again, at least twice by the same rater at different times, or by different raters who are familiar with the work of the employee and have observed him in the performance of his job. There are actually two ways of telling if the ratings are consistent, and these are as follows. First, when the rater grades an individual 2 or more times and the results are basically the same. Of course, there will be no doubt that, this is reliable and it is objectively taken. Second one, we have when the ratings by 2 or more independent raters, both of whom have observed the same employee at work, are compared and the results agree substantially. But let me take you first to the common errors in rating. Varying interpretations or applications of factors by different raters are common causes of errors in performance rating. These problems actually can be minimized by giving the raters a uniform and thorough training and practice in the appraisal system. A more effective procedure of rating performance is one combined with an interview. Why? The purpose is to help the employee improve his performance rather than merely tell him how poorly he does his work, right? So some of the problems met in performance rating are the halo effect, the unreliability of raters, the effect of personal attitudes toward a rating system, the difficulty of defining traits to be rated, and the varying standards of different raters. Let me narrow this down to you. When we say halo effect, this is the tendency of the rater to allow one or maybe two particularly dominant traits of the employee's performance and to influence his ratings on the other traits or factors. And this could be negative or positive, which is kind of bias. And this bias is actually called an implicit, specifically a cognitive bias. When we say cognitive bias, by the way, it is a limitation in objective thinking that is caused by the tendency of the human brain to perceive information through a filter of personal experience and preferences. That is why some raters create their own subjective reality from their own perception. But the best way to mitigate this is by using an evaluation method, of course, that is accurate as possible and that enables the rater to rate observable and measurable actions without leaving room for misinterpretations. Next one, we have the logical error. Actually, this is very similar to the halo error. If the rater finds an employee's performance in one trait as either outstanding or unsatisfactory, he feels that it is but logical to rate the employee also outstanding or unsatisfactory, as the case may be in the other traits. Again, it's the same with the halo error, and it's likely illogical. Next, we have the blaming subordinates for errors that are not the employee's fault. Subordinates should not be blamed or penalized for errors or faults committed beyond their assigned duties or responsibilities. It's not on their scope already. This rises actually when the supervisor fails to inform, not good in disseminating instruction, the employees clearly of the full scope and nature of the employee's assignment so that they are not aware of all his duties and responsibilities. Miscommunication. And lastly, these two should come together because these two is the distribution of ratings, or how these ratings are being distributed by different raters. We have this leniency and severity. What are these two? When we say leniency, actually some supervisors rate their employees high. You know what I mean? In order to avoid displeasing them, or on the belief that too many poor ratings in their units may be taken as an index of poor supervision. And it is an indication of the supervisor's weakness and lack of understanding of their responsibility to the firm. Right? Why will you please your subordinates if they need to improve? But there is actually another one that is the opposite of leniency, and that is severity. Some raters are over strict with the appraisal of their subordinated and consistently rate them lower than the normal or average. Wow, high standard. They are being overly harsh. Not high standard, but they are overly harsh in rating performance qualities and commit severity error. So, thank you so much for listening, and that ends my presentation. Again, this is Ryan Nicole Quemado. Good day, everyone.